Okay, so Supergirl was a fine movie. It was simply just fine. I don't know what all the idiots were expecting. Guardians of the Galaxy was a shit movie, and it foretold that everything James Gunn did was going to suck. I'm going to go through some other movies where the first one was a blockbuster, but it actually sucked, and then all the fans were surprised later when the sequels or whatever sucked. And then finally, I'm going to talk about why James Gunn sucks. Now, my first experience with a movie that absolutely sucked, and I knew it was going to suck, and everybody loved it, was The Matrix. When this stupid movie came out, I avoided it for like over a year because I know what this is going to be. It sounds so stupid, and it's only a great idea for somebody who doesn't think very much and never thought of the idea or never read Horton Hears a Who. And I guess it didn't help that it was like everybody's wearing sunglasses all the time and wearing black leather, and it's just way too cool. And when I finally saw it, it was actually worse than I thought it was going to be. The whole thing about Neo being the one was so cliched, tired. The cool music while they're shooting up people. I'm like, this is like trenchcoat mafia kind of crap. Like, this is kind of sick. They're killing, and these people are real that they're killing, and they're because they're real people. They're just connected to the Matrix, and they're just shooting everybody. And the cool music, I'm just like, this is actually really disgusting. The god awful dialogue, like when Twitch or Switch, she goes, not like this, not like this. And then there was this scene where, like this movie had so many scenes that are just cringe. Like, oh my God, they're actually trying to do that. Like, there's a scene where I think Morpheus is fighting Neo in the Matrix simulation thing, and all the guys, in the real world are watching, and one of them goes, "This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good." Like, basically telling the audience, "Oh yeah, this is really gonna be good. So watch it. This is really good." Like, they're basically telling the audience, "This is really good." In fact, the first time I noticed this ever happen was in the original Superman movie, or Superman 2, when Superman is fighting Zod, and the cab driver is looking up at them fighting and going, "This is gonna be good." I think, or some black guy. But I can forgive Superman 2 because that was maybe like, that was 50 years ago or something, right? And like, but at this point, you can't make a movie where you got an action scene and the people watching are going, "Wow, this is really cool," and like telling the audience essentially that it's really cool. Oh, by the way, if you can think of any other examples of a movie where like the first one was a big blockbuster hit, but you could tell that it was like it really actually sucked, and then the sequel came out and everybody was disappointed and it bombed, and you're like, "Well, what did you expect? The first one was shit. You were wrong." The next example I can think of is X-Men 3: The Last Stand. Now, this was not an original, of course it was a sequel, but it was a different director, Brett Ratner, the great Brett Ratner. And I remember I sat there at the end of the movie with my friend, and the camera pans through the graves of Scott Summers and Jean Grey and Cyclops, and I whispered to my friend, I go, "They're the lucky ones." And I went home feeling like my dog had died because it was that bad. And I immediately went on IMDb, and there used to be a message board on there, and I went on there trashing it, and everybody else was saying, "Oh, well, you're crazy, man. That was a great movie. It was awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, you wait and see. You give it time. This movie's gonna be like pissed all over in the future." And so it was. But at the time when it came out, it broke records. And then there was Avatar, where I'm like, I felt sorry for James Cameron after I watched that. I watched it in the theaters, and I felt sorry for him. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is gonna bomb so badly." But it was huge. But overall, it's a really bad movie, and so are the sequels. And I think people are finally realizing that, because I don't think the third one did too well. And then there was Star Trek, Jar Jar Abrams, and I went to see it, and everybody was praising it, and I thought, this movie sucks. It's better. It's like a Star Wars movie. That's what I thought when I watched it. And I'm like, it's missing the whole point of Star Trek, which is like exploration, and instead it's turning it into a stupid action movie. And Red Letter Media actually later pointed out to me, not personally, that it's a lot of people running around a lot. So then when Jar Jar Abrams did the Star Wars movie, I'm like, oh, this might be good. I mean, he's a good, he made a Star Wars movie already when he made Star Trek, but it was horrible. It was just a carbon copy of the original Star Wars, and I'm like, this was horrible. And it was almost like everybody was deluded. Everybody was saying how good it was. Is everybody on crack? What's going on here? Like, are you guys crazy? It was just a copy of the original movie. However, inferior to the original because the villain Kylo Ren gets his ass kicked in the first movie, and I'm like, so what are they? How are they going to follow it up? Like, where can it go from here? And I think later everybody pretty much unanimously realized that the Force Awakens was crap. I don't know what they were smoking. I don't know what was going on. And the next mass delusion, as far as on the top of my mind, off the top of my head, was the Guardians movie, where I'm just like, this is just so stupid. It's too stupid to take serious. Like, I'm never feeling like any of these characters are in danger, and I feel like I'm watching a music video. And it got so successful. I think I probably predicted that now every movie's going to try to copy this, where they just put pop music in instead of having a good movie. And everybody did. And the only good thing I'll say about the Guardians movie was that at the end it was sweet. It had a sweet little moment when the mother says to young Peter Quill, "You'll always be my Star Lord," and then that tells you why he calls himself Star Lord, because it's because of his mother. That was very sweet, and I did shed tears. So I think James Gunn basically his whole one trick pony thing is put lots of pop music in and then end it with something very sweet and touching, and then otherwise just have a complete shit movie. Oh, and really bad jokes. Really bad jokes. Like, I remember in the sequel, the Guardians 2, whatever the hell it was called, like, ha ha ha, Taser Face? You call yourself Taser Face? Ha 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 ha, Taser Face? And it's like, that wasn't funny. It was not funny. It was a bad... and I think that was also emulated in other movies, especially Taika Waititi, who we're going to get to, where it's like, no, you can't just have everything be stupid and silly and have these dumbass jokes all the time. Anyways, sorry, but Guardians of the Galaxy was a terrible movie. Then there was Taika Waititi doing Thor Ragnarok. I don't know why James Gunn's there, but it might as well be. So Taika Waititi thought, okay, so I'll just do the same thing. I'll put pop music in, and I'll have as many jokes as possible. I'll make it like a cartoon so that nobody can like to ever take anything seriously. It's basically a comedy. And it was horrible. It was horrible. Thor Ragnarok. But everybody loved it. So then, Thor Love and Thunder comes out and everybody's surprised that it sucked. And I'm like, no, it was just as bad as Ragnarok. See, that's what kills me. People are surprised when the sequel sucks, when the first one sucked. And then there was Wonder Woman. Oh, is that Supergirl? No, and then there was Wonder Woman, which totally sucked. And everybody liked it for some reason. And then everybody was surprised when the second one sucked. And I'm like, no, refer back to the first one. It always sucked. The whole thing sucked. Getting back to James Gunn and sort of chronicling briefly my experience with his movies and why I'm asking, why the hell are you surprised Supergirl wasn't anything different than what James Gunn is? Because essentially it's some director who tried to make a James Gunn movie. Anyways, so he does Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, which sucked. Then he does the second one where I'm actually pleasantly surprised because I'm expecting it to suck. See, there was the same case with The Matrix for me, where the first one I thought sucked so much that I actually enjoyed the sequels, whereas everybody else, they didn't like it. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is still shit, but I was expecting shit, so I could only be pleasantly surprised. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, yeah, just more shit. His Suicide Squad movie was shit. Um, I avoided watching it. Finally, I watched it because I think I just did it because to do a YouTube review or something. I had to watch it in increments because it was so shit. Like, I have to watch 20 minutes and then pause it, come up for air. It's like swimming in shit. You got to come up for air. It was shit. It was total shit. The Suicide Squad movie was shit, but I don't know why everybody loved it. Whatever. I mean, this little doofus James Gunn is so predictable. There was a scene in the Suicide Squad movie where Harley Quinn is singing to herself while she's in jail, singing a song, and then I'm like, and she's about to break out of jail, and I'm like, I predicted it. I'm like, okay, so when she starts breaking out of jail, they're gonna start playing the real song that she was singing to herself, but they're gonna play the actual pop song while she's beating the crap out of them. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So the dude is predictable. And then they choose him to lead the DCU, and I'm like, I got a bad feeling about this. And then he fires Henry Cavill, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, so you fired the best Superman we've had since Christopher Reeve, possibly better than Christopher Reeve. No offense, I grew up on the first Superman, but Henry Cavill was perfect, and this new guy is kind of a average looking dude. So I had great apprehension about James Gunn taking over the DCU and making a Superman movie. I'm like, he hasn't proven that he can handle Superman, who has a lot of what's the word, loftiness to him. Superman is not a character that you want to turn into a joke, and I'm afraid he's going to turn it into a joke. And I guess it's okay to do like a Superman, like a hokey Superman movie in the spirit of the old Batman TV show from the 60s where it's all just a joke. But even then it's just too much pop music. And he does the same scene. So the first time I've seen him do this scene was in, I think, Guardians 2, where the blue guy who's Star-Lord's father, does this whistling thing where this like little like laser thing goes around and kills everybody, and there's pop music playing while the laser shoots around and kills everybody. And I think the blue guy's just walking, like not even looking, because it's so cool to be killing people and not even looking while you're killing them. That's another thing James Gunn loves to do. So there was a scene in Superman it seemed like the exact same scene where the black guy, Mr. Terrific or something, he basically did the exact same thing. He's killing everybody with these magnet things while he's just walking forward and ignoring it while everybody's dying and there's like pop music playing. And then in Supergirl, there was the exact same scene again, but this time by another director doing the same scene that James Gunn has done twice. I forget exactly which scene it was, but it was basically everybody's dying all around while the main character that's killing them all is just walking forward looking cool while pop music plays. So finally, Supergirl was fine, and I don't know what anybody could have been surprised about. It's always just going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Part 7. That's all James Gunn does. And, okay, different director, whatever. It's Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess I have a soft spot for it because I have a crush on Supergirl, and this Supergirl's pretty hot. And I'd rather, if I'm going to have to watch a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I'd rather it be a blonde chick wearing a Supergirl outfit. Yeah, at least there wasn't a talking tree or a talking raccoon in it. Let me know if there's any other movies you can think of where the first one was obviously shit, even though it made a lot of money. And then everybody was surprised when the sequel was equally shit. But what could you have expected when the first one was shit?